My name is Carlos Walker, and this is Art and Hustle Black Authors Matter. And today we got Mr. Cousins Kobe. How you doing, bruh?
What's up, bro? Peace and blessings to you.
Peace and blessings. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate you reaching out, connecting. I see what you doing over there, man. It's always an amazing thing when you can connect to godly people, man. It's just amazing, especially that look like you. So
Hey, that part. That part.
yeah, man.
So, if you will, before we start, tell the people who you are and what you do.
All right, I'm cousin Kobe, man. I am an author, new author. I dropped my book on December 5th. I uh I had been contemplating that book for a while. And things just, came together. But outside of that, man, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a son, and I'm a speaker. I travel around, I speak, I empower our people, I empower organizations by giving them strategies, fixes to problems, whether that's culture, social emotional learning, professional developments, things like that. So that's what I do as a profession.
Shout out. Look, thank God for the voice.
Yeah, man, for
So,
sure.
um, I want to, one, you just became an author.
Mhm.
And your journey is just beginning, but how I actually met you was through Cyrus,
Okay.
Cyrus Webb. Cyrus
Shout
seen
outs.
your book, loved it, highlighted it. What I'm
Mhm.
here to do is only add more prominence to the voice
Okay.
that you already have and that you're already doing. I love sharing Black authors,
Yeah.
especially for Black History Month. I highlight them. And for me, if you will, tell me what it's like or why you wrote your book.
I really wrote my book because traveling around speaking, man, I think as far as the representation of the healing power or really connecting with our stories and using our stories to champion certain things that we've all survived. I don't think the representation is really there as much as we should. Oftentimes from our community, man, we don't talk much about our story. We don't talk about how we survived it. We don't talk about, like oftentimes, especially men, like we don't have a blueprint for our legacies or other men to follow. And for me, it was like, you know what? I need something. Therefore, when I'm gone, when I'm no longer in existence, that cousin Kobe down the line can have a blueprint to know what I achieved, why he think the way he think, or what his DNA was at this point. In our history or in our legacy. It's basically, it inspired me to leave a blueprint to share with people on how to navigate through loss, grief, through their pain, through things they've been challenging or surviving through every day.
Mm.
You know?
You sent me the synopsis, and it's almost like you are taking a view opposed to yes, giving people an opportunity to grieve. Number one,
Yeah.
and then two, giving them a different outlook or perspective
Hmm.
of what grief or what perseverance looks like.
Hmm.
If you
Hmm.
will, go a little deeper into that.
So like, I mean, man, I think like oftentimes like when we go through pain, like there's no substance with the pain other than just the feeling, right?
Mhm.
You went through a hard relationship and now you left with the feeling. You lost a friend, a family member, someone who was close to you. You just left with the feeling. And there's often no, in our community, we talk about nobody can tell you how to grieve and nobody can tell you how. So you kind of adopt this mindset that's like, oh, I'm just grieving without the conscious efforts or understanding that, oh, I'm really at a grieving point in my life. Whether that's, and it don't have to actually be someone that passed. It could be someone, a best friend that you no longer have, or
Money
a
lost.
money loss, in a job, something that you dedicated energy. I'll call it energetic DNA. Anything that you put your energetic DNA to, like you could lose that. And when you lose that, there's a process that you have to go through is grieving. But the way we often talk about it or deal with it or survive through it is we don't address it. You know, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to, be in that place or space. But the true essence is that's fuel.
Come on.
That's fuel to push you. You kind of shared with me about, and then man, I often see brothers or just people come from prison and they get into a place and it's like, dang, like you often see them do more work than people who've been out here the whole time, and you just wonder why. Like, why is that? Because they found a way to use that as fuel to elevate them. And I think when you go through losses, when you go through these pains or these situations in your life, you have to navigate that into fuel. But nobody talks about how to. So the hidden superpower is basically how you navigate this into a fuel in order to elevate you to a level. Because this is what happened on the opposite side, right? When you don't turn it into fuel, automatically you start to become a victim, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And when you become a victim, then everything that happens to you is the glass half empty. I don't have this. I don't have that. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Oh, I don't have those legs, or I can't jump like that, or I can't run like that. And it becomes that whole mindset. And that actually paralyze you and keep you from being elevated in your life. You know what I'm saying? But if you find a way to use that as fuel, that'll help you elevate. So yeah.
Uh, you said a lot right there.
Yeah.
For me, you do have a lot of people, don't get me wrong, that comes from prison and they they come out here and they do get emotionally stuck
Mm-hmm.
because it's just an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's man, I don't know where I'm gonna make some money. I don't know how to, or you're at somebody's house having to
Mm-hmm.
live there and you're thinking inside your head, man, I gotta get me some money because they gonna be looking at me funny. When it's communication, number one. And
Mm-hmm.
then two, if you do your part, doors open up. Not
Yeah.
saying that it's gonna happen right then,
Yeah.
but it's an emotional part first, and then the next thing is I got to persevere and thrive through this, not survive.
Mm-hmm.
We're going into Black History Month,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, we have survived through a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I look a little deeper than just the survival. We have
Mm-hmm.
thrived through a lot.
For sure.
Everything that has happened to us, it happened. We are victims,
You're right.
but we are not just victims. We're overcomers.
Right.
When you change your mindset and you realize, okay, slavery happened, Jim Crow happened, uh, mass incarceration, all these
Mm-hmm.
ports have happened, but what did we do with it?
Yeah.
This is the part that you're talking about as the fuel. When we look at our history, we shouldn't be downcast.
Mm-hmm.
We should be uplifted and realize, man, some things, nature, people tried to wipe us out, and guess what?
Yep.
We are doctors, we are lawyers, we are scientists, we are everything, or we have created everything
Mm-hmm.
that you see that we're using now, in spite of what happened.
Yep.
That's the reason why people are upset
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That
because
make
of who
that
you become.
yeah, that makes us dangerous, in a sense, because like when you've done everything to make you a victim, right? When your oppressors have done everything to create a victim, and you don't victimize yourself, and you push through it, and you become something even after the suffering that should have broke you, that should have like folded you in every aspect of your life, and you persevere. That make you Teflon almost, like you can't be broken. So the best way to fix, or the best way to throw you off, is to distract you. So that's what we see a lot today. We see a lot of distractions that keep you off of focusing on your gifts and your purpose, that keep you off of paying attention to what it is that God has for you, right?
Come on.
And but if you get soaked in your pain, what will
Mm,
happen is that's what you'll do. You'll succumb to the distractions in life, like, and then, they say idle mind is the devil's playground.
come
So
on.
it's like if you get to a place where you're distracted, it makes you idle. You just moving in place. You're like you're not going anywhere. So like what you're speaking of is a group of people who persevered regardless, despite of, like you said, right? And that's the thing that we have in us. We have a level of resilience that can't even be measured. Like this
Mm.
can't be measured, right? The more you go through, the more you do. That's what it should be. That should be the saying. The more you survive through, the more you can achieve, the more you can accomplish. And I've seen that so many times, like where people get through a place, I'm like, ooh, like you dangerous. You don't even know you dangerous, right?
It's
Because
turning to that fuel you talking about.
oh man, it make you and to be in a situation like I'm the only one. I'm the middle of nine brothers. I'm the only one that didn't go to jail or prison, right?
Mhm.
But I just learned from them. I learned from them. It wasn't that I wasn't doing dirt too, because I was, but I learned from them. I was like, no, 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 I don't like the results of that. I don't like that. Like, and I watch my brothers suffer so many times. Like I'm going through it with them. I'm going to visitation, because they don't have anybody.
The family go through the whole ordeal now. It
Yeah,
ain't just it ain't
yeah,
just the person, but
yep.
mainly what I want to focus on right now is
Mhm,
you said a lot. I did use slavery and our oppressive state to use that but as just an individual,
mhm,
because your book is dealing with, I would say, individuals to
mhm.
get them to see their superpower.
Right, right.
And in us being able to see our superpower and using this as fuel, what have you seen most of the time becomes the outcome?
Yeah. So like, I think the biggest challenge first is like, man. Like when you look at life, oftentimes a lot of things happen to you, right?
Hmm.
That's usually the perspective, right? But in actuality, it happened for you.
Come on
It
now.
happened for you, bro. And it looks that way. So who wants to get to a point and be like, all this, I didn't invite this to my life. It happened to me. But here's one thing that I learned, man. And when you go through the book, you learn that each chapter is super something, super name, super legacy, super not so super, super love, super relentless, super strength. Like I name every chapter super something, right? I,
Hmm.
I lose or I gain a superpower in that process, all to know the one superpower that I needed was forgiveness. I
Come
had
on now.
unforgiveness in me the entire time. I was fighting this thing. I didn't want to give it up. I didn't even really know I was holding on to that. It was like the little illustration where the monkey is holding their hand, they grab the food and they can't get their hand out of the pipe.
Hmm.
It's That's what I was holding on to. I was holding on to it so much because in my sense, it's mine, right? It's my I went through it. I get to marry this, but the problem is like if you don't go through the process of divorcing that, right, then you hold on to something that is holding you back from your elevation. So our people, what a lot of us are suffering with is we're suffering through unforgiveness, and we
Hmm.
we have to let it go. We got to find a way to elevate, because that does more justice for us, for all the people who betrayed us, for all the people who did us wrong, for all the people who sabotaged against you or lied on you, for all those people. Like your success matters so much that it almost generally, like the Bible say, I will make your enemies your footstool. It automatically aids that. It guides that into your life, because all those people who counted you out, they counted on you holding that in. They counted on you being in a place where you're so broken you will never be fixed. But it's when you start to put those pieces together and you realize that, oh, yeah, I got a chink in my armor, but I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? When you get to that place, oh yeah, 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 you become real dangerous, real dangerous.
I used to I used to look at us and be like, man, why are we so forgiving?
Mm,
And I realized that we have a heart of God.
yeah,
America's supposed to be on fire.
Yeah.
But because of our heart, or the heart God gave us,
Mm-hmm.
we choose to keep going. And
Yeah.
because we keep going, what happens is we do succeed. We
Mm-hmm.
do elevate to stages that people would have never thought. Because guess what? It's our superpower. As you just said, forgiveness becomes your superpower.
It do.
When you was
It
talking
do.
about that monkey, I seen a I want to say it was either a cartoon or
Mm-hmm.
something, and it was a cage.
Mm-hmm.
He reached his hand, grabbed it, and balled it up, and he wouldn't. To your
Yeah.
point, wouldn't let it go. And what
Yeah.
it might have been a cave or something reaching
Uh-huh.
there, but because he did not let it go, he
Yeah.
couldn't get free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever you do this stuff, it frees you. And I had to learn this throughout my journey. One, your book is powerful.
Yeah. I
It's
appreciate
not.
it.
It shouldn't just be called the superpower. You are giving people superpowers.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you the way you phrased it, the way you added super to every chapter,
Mm-hmm.
it's you now waking up a people, individuals, to understand that they are beyond powerful when they start to realize, when they start to understand that they are, and they, or the way I like to put it, to me, the Bible is a love letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you never read the love letter, you never know what the lover
Mm-hmm.
says to the
That's
lovee.
deep, boy. That's deep. Yeah.
And this is even with your book. You're telling your book is a love letter
Mm.
to the people, no matter what color. Even
Yeah.
though, like you said, look, we love pouring into ourselves, but
Yeah. Yeah.
to anybody, what you are giving them
Mm-hmm.
is, look, I love you enough to write this, leave this legacy to you, so
Right.
then you can become how I became. So
Yeah.
you can understand that I spoke on stages and places, but you wasn't able to be there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I'm going to leave you is this love letter to give you so you can gain this power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
And
you, man.
it's so powerful because like I went and I looked at my ancestry and I remember calling my great aunt and just trying to confirm some of the things that I had found. And it was so powerful because it's like we are the first generation now that get to leave something, a blueprint. We the first generations that get to leave text, threads, video, like photos, like
Hmm.
they get to really see 100 years from now, 200 years from now, they
In real
get to
time.
see every part of it. And I think that is so powerful, man. And I like what you said when it comes to the love letter because like they need to know. And when I was going through my ancestries, I learned that some of my great great uncles had died and I didn't know how or why, I just did. It's, oh, this say there was a brother here, there was a brother that, and even my auntie didn't, my great aunt, she didn't know certain things. Like, yeah, I knew there was a brother Archie and there's a brother this and there's a brother that, but she didn't know what happened to them. And I think like when I talk about my brother Marcus, who passed in 2006, he was shot and killed. 6 years later, another brother of mine. 4 years later, now 6 years later, that was Andre. 4 years later, my dad, and then 4 years after that, another brother of mine. When I talk about their lifestyles, in it, like it paints a picture of who they are. On the last chapter, um, is called in reference of love. It's called Super Love because one of
Mhm.
my brothers just had a godly love, man. I don't even know if I was built like that. I don't know if I was built like that, G, because it was like, and I remember having a conversation with him. I was like, man, like you can curse somebody out today and then be friends with them tomorrow. Like I don't know if I got that bone in me. Like, and he had it. Whatever was done, he was done with it. He could move on. So when you talk about being a forgiving people, like and you talk about the love letter part, yeah, it is because, and I never thought about it like that because it's the
Mhm.
texture that paints the personality so you can know who that person is. It's one thing knowing that you got a relative with the name on the building or a relative who owns this or that, but it's a whole different ball game when you can look at that relative and see text and be like, "Ooh, I'm like him."
Mm-hmm.
It's different. So nah, that's just powerful. And I think it's like for all people, it is like for me to go through all those losses, my mother leaving, losing my brothers, and I had to forgive their killers. Like I really had to forgive their killers. You know, and there was a moment, I remember I'll talk about it in the book. I was working out and it just hit me. Oh man, the enemy just on me, man. It just I'm just working out and I'm in the mode. And it was like, oh, like I often thought about how my other brothers who had passed versus my last brother who had passed, how they would have felt if they were me
Mm-hmm.
living through this situation. And it just put me in a evil mode. It just put me in a
It's
mode.
more
And I
like
got to a
pay. They wanted to get payback
oh
for.
man, I needed that revenge, and I didn't care. I didn't care about any aspect. You know, we come from just different cultures where people would be like, "Oh no, you supposed to get your get back. You're supposed to get this." And I remember God checking me. He said to me, "I didn't bring you this far for you to go back so easy."
And to get rid of. Look, I'm glad you said that.
Hmm.
I think it was recently. I
Hmm.
heard Nipsey Hussle speak about how far he had came in his journey,
Yeah,
and he was pretty much like, "Yo, if I stop now, everything that I'd done up until
yeah.
this point dies."
Everything dies.
I mean, everything I've done to change my life, because you got a story.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the butterfly. I don't
yeah,
even know the caterpillar.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
caterpillar done did all the
yeah,
damn work. Excuse my
yeah,
language, but did
yeah.
all the
That's
work.
real. That's real.
And here I am looking at the butterfly. Yo, you done wrote a book. You speaking everywhere. Look, this is
Yeah,
something that I admire and I am building myself to get to, is
yeah,
to be on stage speaking everywhere.
yeah.
And I'm looking at you, but guess what? Had you stopped
Mm,
and went
mm,
back and did anything
yeah,
and it turns left, because
yeah.
anything can happen. You end up in
Anything can happen.
prison. You could be in prison.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't get to meet you today.
yeah, yeah. And you know what's so powerful about that is like I remember having a conversation with tears in my eyes. I asked one of my younger brothers. I said, "Man, which one of y'all gonna pick up if something happened to me?" And they look like
You trying to put them in big shoes.
like they don't get picked up. Like, and I knew this is the same reason why Jesus cursed the fig tree. And you know, one of the reasons, like man, when I reference the Bible, like I reference it as principles, as certain lessons, but I ask the stupid questions. You know what I'm saying? I call them
No, you
stupid
don't.
because the reason I call them because I'm like, hold on, what's that? Like, like I want to know. And I'm like, Jesus, hold on, y'all walking across this past this fig tree all this time. Like, why now curse the fig tree? Right? And at that point, like, here's one thing that I learned. In every family, there's multiple, I'm sure. But there's definitely one that God sends. There's for sure one that God sends to save the legacy, right? And if you don't do what you were purposed to do,
Curse the fig tree.
curse the
You
fig tree.
you didn't grow fruit.
You
What was the first command that God gave man? Be fruitful and multiply.
yeah,
And this wasn't kids.
yeah.
This was every idea, every thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because of you being who you are,
Mm-hmm.
there will be many generations, many people that you get to speak on stage to.
Yeah.
Do you not know that those are seeds that you have planted in somebody, and the thoughts that you have implanted,
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
go home, talk to their kids, and what happens is rise a new tree that plants, that drops more
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah. And in reference to that, man, I remember I was speaking. This one of my first biggest speeches, man. I was invited to speak to a room full of principals. It was probably about 500 principals and assistant principals in there. And I'm geeked out, bro. I'm geeked out. I'm like, I made it. This is one of my first time. I'm like, I made it. I ain't make a dollar off of it, but I'm like, oh yeah, I made it. And I remember walking out, principals, they want to take pictures. We want you to come to our school, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. And I remember just gloating. I'm walking out, and God say to me, You was only there for one. He said you was only there for one. And I
One
was like,
person.
God, ain't no disrespect. I was like, but it was like 500 people in that guy, like, and he was like, you may have sowed seeds in all of them, but you was only there for one.
Mm.
And that's now it's like that's the mindset that I adopted. It's like, okay, God, I get it. I get it. So what you saying in so many words, bro, it's like, yes, you're birthing seeds in so many ways, perspectives that people never thought about, ever been faced with. Because a lot of times when we live in life, man, we're stuck in our own world and we think this is the world. But when you get that other perspective, it's like, hold on, you've been through this. And you've been through that? And you've been okay, hold on. Maybe I need to look at my situation just a little different. Maybe I can learn something and it seeds something that now they can look at their life in a different lens versus looking at the way they did that could have affected them in a different way. But now, but when you talk about Nipsey, my guy, you could probably his poster right there. That's Nipsey, my guy. So yeah, man.
One, I thank you for writing the book. Many people need to get it. Matter of fact, y'all, please go get this book. It'll help you get past some of those ghosts. I look at trauma. I look
Mm,
at things that you've been through as ghosts,
yeah,
and they're haunting you in your present. But
yeah.
they're not doing anything, or the person who harmed you ain't doing nothing no more.
Hmm.
It's the ghost that's in your mind that's keeping you from moving forward. Back to the monkey.
Yeah,
You're holding on to something or letting it haunt you, and you can't move forward because I haven't realized that I'm here.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't realized that I'm still here.
yeah,
It didn't kill me.
yeah, yeah,
These are the
yeah.
things that when you speak about people, I'm trying to think of somebody who went through something, whether it's Tyler Perry,
Hmm.
whether it's any artist or somebody who went through something, and if they had kept that anger, kept that pain, they
They
couldn't
wouldn't
be
be where.
released into who they are today.
Yeah, yeah.
But because, oh, go ahead.
It hold them back, like what you saying, and I often illustrate when I talk to people about therapy, why therapy is important, is because at every point in your life there was trauma or there was some type of hurt. There is a version of you that stopped growing. That's the
Mhm.
ghost.
That's the
There's a
go.
version of you that stopped growing. So even like you can't stop growing. Like that's just the laws of life. You're going to always grow. You decide if that's mentally, spiritually, but physically, you're going to always grow. And for every version of you that did not grow, right, it stopped at the threshold of that door. So there
Hmm.
are many ghosts or many versions of you, whether
That
you
didn't.
were harmed as a child or mother left, or in every version of my life where I faced homelessness or anything, it's like there's a version of me that stopped growing. And those ghosts start to echo fears across the current version of my life, current season. So it's like, oh no, don't go there. You remember what happened when you were 6? Remember what happened when you were 10?
These are
Remember
the
what happened?
fears.
These are fears, just the ghosts, and this is how the ghosts live. And what you have to do, even through therapy, you have to walk back
And tell
through
that
those.
person we done made it.
Let's go. You got to update them. You got to
Look,
update the software now.
let me take this reign because I'm here. I
Mm-hmm.
watched a video on Instagram like about 2 3 years ago, and it was
Mm-hmm.
of a man. He was talking to his younger self,
Uh-huh.
and he said, man, the younger self was like, hey, I remember this, I'm doing this, and it shifted to the older guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, yo, we made it.
Mm-hmm.
Tears ran down my eyes because I had to go back inside myself and think to my younger self when I was selling drugs, when I ended up in prison. That version of me don't know this version,
Yeah.
but this version of me know every one of those
Mm-hmm.
versions to be able to say, look, I understand you thought you had messed up or you thought you was doing something.
Mm-hmm.
No, we done made it here. And guess what? We're the best version of us that we've ever been.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
changes your mindset. It
Yeah,
changes
it
your
do.
perspective.
Yeah. And man, I hope. Man, you listen to this. I hope you caught that blessing, man. That like and and to be honest, out of all the conversations I've had, I've never really had a true conversation where we could uh bounce off each other intellectually about the parts of us that we're suffering from. You know what I'm saying? And how to go back to that. And that's what's that like this is necessary, right? Because there's a lot of men, well, you're not going to get the blueprint from your father. It's a wrap. You're not going to get it from your grandfather. You're not going to get it from your uncles. But now that you survived that, you can learn something to go back to the other versions of you who was abandoned and let update them so that you can get back to the current point. And now you won't have a lot of those limitations and a lot of those fears that hold you back today. Man, that's just powerful, man.
You also said something earlier, and I was going to say it then, but forgiveness.
Hmm.
So there's a saying, they said, imagine drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens with our words, somebody that hurts you, you still cussing them out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
still speaking negativity to them and they going about their business. They don't even know you even talking about them.
Yeah.
But who it hurts is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned that words that come out your mouth, you hear yourself more than you have ever heard anybody in the world.
Yeah.
Whether you are aware you can hear yourself or whatnot, you
Hmm.
hear yourself. And the more that you, this is the reason why I don't know if it was Christ or it might have been Christ or it might have been Paul, but somebody said, no, it was Christ. He said, pray for those that despitefully use you.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're praying for them because guess what? What I think, what I speak affects me.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have to be changed. The reason why a lot of people haven't received God's blessings that He want them to have is because of that unforgiveness.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Every your 90 or just say your 70-year-old you
Hmm.
can't be fulfilled if you don't release some things on your way, because what happens is that unforgiveness, that hate keeps me in a standstill.
Yep.
And God want me to be fruitful and multiply. But the only reason why a tree can't bear fruit is not mature.
Yeah, man. And it's like like they tell you in math, two negatives equal a positive, you know?
Hmm.
And it's like, I remember I learned years ago I was working for a company called Servpro, and I was becoming a water treatment tech, where if your house flooded, I can come in and dry it out and things like that, right? And one thing that the instructor said while I was taking the class, he said, "Where does water go?" And I was like, nobody knew the answer, but it was like, I don't know. And he said, "Wet
Evaporates.
goes to whatever is dry."
Hmm.
So what happens is when you have this unforgiveness, it moves the same way. It consumes everything. So now misery is available. Now negativity is available. Now drama is available.
It's
Like all
drawing.
it's drawing so much into your life. And you don't realize it because you just holding on to this thing that happened to you, right? And it's just a process. Like I asked my biological mother for forgiveness in 2012. I don't know if I fully forgave her until like 2022. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I learned about forgiveness is forgiveness is the coordinates that you put in the GPS. You still got to get there, right? You
This is
still got to
GPS.
navigate to it, right? You still got, but you got to accept it first, right? And I think with unforgiveness is the same. It's the same way when you're so into, and a lot of people don't want to admit it, right? Because they feel like it exposed them. Nobody wants to be exposed that, oh, you got this on you or you got that on you. But the truth is, like, that's what's harming your elevation. Anyone who's not elevated, right? Or aspire to be elevated or go to a certain level of success and they haven't met that level of success, there's usually something that's holding you down. And in that sense, I found out, right? for majority of us is unforgiveness, and you have to allow that to leave your life because it is just what you said. You're drinking the poison, you hoping somebody else die. I also had this conversation with a friend of mine who dad his father wasn't in his life, and we was having a conversation, and he was talking about all the people that betrayed him, and he was like, bro, I got a different perspective, bro. I feel like, they betrayed me, you know, like why should I forgive them? Because they did it to me. I ain't do it to me, and rightfully so, he had this feeling
Rightfully
of
so.
this why he should hold on to that. And I asked him, I said, let me ask you this. He was like, I ain't God. So God is perfect. So I'm not God, but you
So is
know,
he.
so I said to him, I said, let me ask you this. I said, if Satan were to repent and no longer be the devil, no
Mhm.
longer be saved, the Satan, I said, would God forgive him?
all day long.
He said, yeah, yeah. He said, God would, because God perfect. And I said, does that mean evil no longer exists? He the father of evil, and evil was created because of him. And I'm like, does that mean that he was like, nah, evil still exists? I said, that's how you know forgiveness ain't for them, it's for you. Like that's still going, what they did is still gonna be there, bro. But it's you that's holding on to it.
And it's you that got to change.
Yeah.
Instead of him
Hmm.
deciding to hold on or looking at this, he should probably thank God
Hmm.
that he was able to go through it.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that everything that you said this earlier,
Uh-huh.
everything that happened to you happens for you. You
Yeah.
can't see it in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what happens is he go back and he realized it made him a better version of him. Everything life went so beautiful. Why would you appreciate life? You
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
But you need these things to make you the
Yeah.
mature version. You need these things to help you grow and become, and even if they are the hardest things that we may think in the world.
Hmm.
I realize one thing: everybody's journey is equal in God's eyes.
Hmm.
It may
Hmm.
not be feel equal to us, but it's equal in God's eyes
Yeah.
because you needed that thing. They
Hmm.
needed that thing. And what happens is whatever that thing is, it's supposed to mature you.
Yep. Absolutely. Like what you suffered through, you survived through,
You
it
th-
equals your success.
you thrive through.
Excuse me. It equals your success. It's supposed to. Like that's the equation. But nobody told us that.
Mm-mm.
And so we live this life thinking that, oh, life is upside down because I suffered. No. It give you power.
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have towards you, declares the Lord, not to harm you, but to
Hmm.
prosper you and give you an expected end. It's going to feel like harm,
Yeah.
but what it's supposed to do is give you prosperity and expected end.
Yeah. Amen, bro.
Look, few things I'm going to ask you and then I'm going to let you go. Um,
Mhm.
what do you want people to gather from your book?
Excuse me. I'm coming over a cold. I want people to notice that there's more to life than what you suffered through. It's so much more. And if you can remove the veil of the lies that make you unequal because of you don't have what other people have, then you will soar beyond like you like the whole idea of a testimony, like you really survived something that somebody else need in order
Hmm.
to get through. And I think like I hope this inspired people to write. I hope this inspired people to heal. In the back of my book, I talk about why I go to therapy. I hope they go to therapy because it helped me. Like it helped me get to a place where I was like, oh, I'm okay. Right. Because I was mad. I was angry. I was bitter. I didn't want to do any more motivation. I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to empower people. And I remember saying to my therapist, like, I'm done. I'm done coaching, developing. I'm done with all this. because I had got to a point where people started leaving because God was working on me. He said to me, "Where you are going, you're not ready for." In
Because
order,
you can't take this sour person with you.
yep. And God
They
said,
the people you're talking to, they can feel it.
"Yep, yep." God said, "Where you are going, hold on." He said, "Where you are going, you're not ready for. In order for me to prepare you, I have to take everything away from you.
Mm.
Everything away from you." And when He took everything away, I became bitter and upset with all the people, everybody I was there for. I was there for them, and I became real bitter about it. And I learned that, oh, it was necessary. God had to isolate me in order to
Oh,
elevate me. It was necessary. And when He isolated me, I started to learn who was for me. I started to learn where He wanted me to go. Right? It became part of the process. But nobody want to be alone. Nobody want to give up anything that they built. But it's like, these are things
mm.
you prayed for.
And you need it.
You need it in order for you to become what He's designed you to become.
And the biggest part, so you can depend on God, not
Uh-huh.
man. Um, I've been in a similar situation. Don't know what yours was like, but in a similar situation. But what I learned, or while I was going through it, I wasn't really looking for people to the people that I'd been able to do things for, because I realized that I was the one that was able to do those things. When
Mhm.
you do something for somebody, never expect it back, because
Yeah, yeah,
most of the
yeah,
time they can't give it back.
yeah, yeah.
But
Majority
but
of the time, that's absolutely true.
but who can
Hmm.
is God.
Yep,
He
yep.
can do beyond, because you did for
Hmm.
them, he will do for you.
Yeah,
And you have to always trust and know that when I do something, if you give money to a homeless person, you ain't looking for that money back.
you're right.
You know
Yeah,
God gonna bless you anyway, to
yep,
be able to keep blessing. And you learn this throughout your journey.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Who I was pouring into, they can't pour back up. You pouring down to them, they can't pour up. Right? It's like I had to learn that. That was a big lesson. And I'm like, all right, so what you have to do is you have to get around people who can pour into you. Because
Come
if
on
you're the
now.
smartest person in the room, every time you go in the room, who's pouring into that person? Like,
Come on.
no, you got to get around some people that you might be a little, challenged around, like that'll challenge you to think differently, and it's uncomfortable and it makes you, elevate who you are. That's what's necessary. But sometimes like we try to get to what's comfortable, but comfortable is not, it's just not it. It's a
Mm,
lie. It's a lie to make you stagnant. It's a lie to distract you from becoming. It's
mm,
the feeling that I no, those feelings, all that is gonna lie to you. It's gonna make you like become something other than what you was designed to become. And I think like this is an old saying I used to say, man, people never stay the same. They either get better or worse. It's either you work to become better or you hope you don't get worse, but you can't get there off of hope alone. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like hope, like you got to work. Faith without work is dead. So we have to work to become better, right? But what happens is if you just hope you get better and you do no work, you will probably get worse.
mm-hmm.
So
That, like going to the gym. You can hope you
yeah.
not going to the gym. You can hope you get stronger.
Yeah, you can hope these weights gonna lift themselves.
Don't put no work in, you ain't gonna get stronger. You're gonna get
Yeah,
weaker.
yeah.
So it has been an honor, man. Before you
My pleasure.
go, give me a word of wisdom for anybody who may need something, and then last, let them know where they can find your books.
Okay. Um, man, I'm gonna tell you the first thing that come to mind is this is season that I've been in my journey. I was reading Moses is probably one of my favorite characters in the book because Moses to me he was an OG. He was like he knew it was God, but he was just a G. I just liked that homie was a G. So but there was a moment where Moses, um, God asked Moses to speak to the rock, and the people of Israel, they wanted water. They wanted water, like, and Moses felt they didn't deserve it because God
Mm.
had done so much for them, so much, and he just felt like they didn't deserve it. So he was upset. But when God asked Moses to speak to the rock, he hit the rock. And oftentimes people miss the elements of what is happening in that. Because I'm like, people often talk about, oh, Moses disobeyed God. Moses had disobeyed God before. This ain't no
Mhm.
different. But what was it in this moment that made God like upset? And what it was when Moses said, when he hit the rock, instead of speaking into the rock, it wasn't that. It was what Moses said. He said, "Must we give you water?" He automatically made himself the savior instead of the servant. And it
Mm.
misrepresented God. And I think that's the part that we losing in our seasons. Like, we are misrepresenting God in a sense where we're not showing God's love first. We're not showing God's kindness. We're not showing God's forgiveness.
Mm.
And but we call ourselves these things, these believers of God, and we're not representing Him well.
Yeah,
And
we're trying to be a savior, not a servant.
you feel me? And my thing is, like, learn how to serve. Learn how
Mm.
to serve. And don't discount people because they're trying to serve, because that's of God. Like, them being a service to you. Like, sometimes we think blessings that come to us look a certain way, right? Nah, it's gonna come in any type of form or any way. And my wisdom to people is like, be careful of how you represent God as you continue your journey. Be careful. Like, always represent God in a way of kindness and love. And if Moses had realized that, oh, I don't want to misrepresent God,
You gave
being
the water.
upset, he would have got to the promised land. He eventually got to it, but it's like he would have got to the promised land then, right? But he didn't because of how he misrepresented God. And even though those people of Israel were, as he felt, unworthy and ungrateful, God still wanted his kindness and love to be shown. And that's why the water from the rock, that's why he wanted water to show up for the people.
He being that you actually said that, he
Mhm.
also was the reason why God didn't get rid of him the first time. He told God, he said, "Hey," because was like, "Look, I'm fed up with these people. They're stiff necked folks. Look, I'm about to." Moses said, "If you get rid of them, won't the enemy mess around and what would the enemy say about you? That God brought him way out here just to kill him?" And then he turned around and wanted to mistreat the people.
Mhm.
It's a lot in that. But
Yeah, yeah, man.
last I want to tell you, man. Oh, let them know where they can get your books.
Yeah, so you can get it on all platforms. Hidden Superpower. You can look up Cousin Kobe. You could also check out my website, cousinkobeinspire.com. On all platforms, just look up Cousin Kobe and I'm there.
Thank you for creating for right. Thank you for leaving a legacy. I tell everybody, our ancestors couldn't read nor write because somebody stopped them, at least here in America.
Yeah.
And here we are reading, writing,
hmm
creating.
hmm
Nothing can stop us. But our ancestors are rolling around in their grave with joy,
hmm
not upsetness, because we are their wildest dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
being you. Thank you for allowing God to use you, use your words. Thank you for your power.
I appreciate you, bro.
You have learned to walk in your superpower. And because of that, God will continue to prosper you.
I appreciate it, bro. That's
Love you, love you, love you,
love you,
man.
bro.
My name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle, Black Authors Matter. And this is Mr. Cousin Kobe. Peace and blessings.